Hi everyone, thanks for joining me today. I was watering my orchids and decided to make a break, and I came outside and I confess this is one of those days I hate. It is absolutely cloudy and dull. I would be delighted with a good rain, but this seems to be a tremendous waste. I love the sun, I'm used to it, and I'm used to have it, but I also love a good rainy day, probably because they are scarce. What I do not like is this kind of nothing happens type of weather. Oh well, we have to love what we get, and that's that. And here I am inside, and we will start with these Dendrobium phalaenopsis I have here. I have 4 of them. They have not done great lately. They really did not enjoy being in semi-hydro, although these plants are continuous growers and they like to be moist all the time, but they didn't like semi-hydro, as I said, and so I changed them to orchiata bark, and already have some good results. Can you see there? New growths here. Well, this one not so much, but the plants are looking good, so sooner or later I will have some new growth. This one as well, look at that beautiful new growth. This one here is the worst of them all. This one is polar fire and it lost all its roots. Last year it grew 4 thick canes. As you can see, they are still very plump, but I don't know why. Lost all the canes, attempted to bloom with 2 spikes, and I ended up cutting off the blooms because I didn't want to exhaust the plant. But when I took it out of the lacquer beads, look at that, no roots. These are useless roots, most of them. I just left these stumps here. Maybe it can help hydrate the plant, and I've put it in some sphagnum moss. Maybe it will help, and all we have to do is wait. And now here I have my 2 Paphiopedilum. That one is Gratianum. It bloomed twice this year, but it has here another growth, but I don't think it's going to bloom. I think this is a new leaf, but it has a new growth there, starting a new fan. And here I have Paphiopedilum Pinocchio, and it has 3 new fans. This one is putting a new leaf, but this one is putting a spike, and this is a continuous bloomer. Last time it bloomed sequentially for 1 year, I guess. After 1 year I had to cut off the spike because the flowers were getting smaller and smaller, but there were still flowers to go. But I'm glad I did. That was exactly 1 year ago, because then the plant became stronger, and now it's going to give me new blooms. Look at them. Last time I had one new flower every month, which is nice. And look at this one. You remember this one? This one started to bloom exactly on February the 20th with this flower here. 4 days later, this one came, and there was a third one from one of the smaller pseudobulbs, which lasted for 3-4 days. That was all. And I still have these flowers here, and they look great. They still look great. So that was 1.5 months ago, 45 days ago, and the flowers are still great. This is a natural hybrid of 2 species of Sophronitis. Like, let me show you. This one. This is a hybrid that comes out in nature as well. I'm very happy with this one. No new growths so far, which is understandable, but when I changed the moss, I saw that there are new roots. This is another of my miniatures. It is growing good roots under the moss, attached to the bark, and all she needs is to bloom. And oh yes, I have my Tolunia here. I want to show to Inns. Inns wanted to see my Tolunia, my non-blooming Tolunia. This one, I bought it 2 years ago. 1.5 years, 18 months ago to be exactly. And it has grown because it was very small, and it did not do much except growing in size during the winter, and no blooms, but it has a new leaf there. It had one fan here, which it was small, it became yellow and dried out last summer. There are not many roots, but the roots are attached. I checked. Well, let's have her time, whatever she wants. Also, we can take a look at my seedlings. Let's take a look, for instance, here at the Vandas. They are hanging in these larger baskets than last time, because it was being quite hard to keep them hydrated. They were thirsty all the time. They are big drinkers. They were just watered. I keep them here on top of some orchiata bark with charcoal. This one grew in size. The leaves grew in size during the winter, but only now she's putting a new leaf. Can you see there? There's a new leaf, which is good. Let's put it back. And this one here, it has grown a lot during winter. It doesn't have as larger roots as the other one, but there are new roots coming. Can you see over there? That point, I don't think it's focusing very well. There, and also there. So one of the roots is branching and there's one root coming from the stem. So I'm happy with them. And the cattleyas, they've changed setup too. They are also big drinkers. I couldn't keep up with the watering on the mounds because the moss was dry all the time. By night time, even in winter, the moss would be completely dry, and so I've put them here in these mesh baskets. I like them so much because they are a bit like a mount, and the roots won't get soggy here, but there are roots growing in there. They're liking it, and I had to do it now because the cattleyas, if we change their medium, we must do it when the roots are small, and so the time to do it was now, and so that's what I did, and they look nice. And okay, I have others here, but for another time. Oh yes, I would like to show you this. I have here also, these are the seedlings here. They are the most difficult ones, and I've put them in tree fern. But this one, there are 3 here. They were in the same pot, but the one on the right doesn't look good, but there is a new growth there, if you can see. And the one on the left grew 1 root, and maybe she will push a new growth. The best one is this one here in the middle. It has a good new growth and roots, and another, a smaller new growth, as you can see over there. This one, it is growing roots and it's trying to attach. This is a tree fern. It keeps humidity for quite a long time, and I managed to find it and bought it for them. Okay, so we will go downstairs now and see some others. Here I have my smaller phalaenopsis species types. We cannot see very well today, but anyway, what I wanted to show you is on this table here. To start with, we have here the Phalaenopsis Sideri japonica. It's not doing much except for continue growing the new leaf, which is already good. But this one here, the Neophanetia falcata, is doing quite well. It has always done quite well. This is a small plant. It's one of a miniature type. It will never be a large one. But it has new roots. Focus, please. It has new roots and it has a new fan. Well, it's doing okay. New leaves too. And here I have this one is Miltonia sunset. I had a problem with this one. This one was in semi-hydro and it's started to smell bad, and I saw nothing that would indicate any bacterial infection. However, I have noticed that lately she was not growing as vigorously as last year, and she flowered, but the flower was not as large as the previous ones, and lost some of the leaves on the pseudobulb in between these two parts. I mean, these two parts, this is one part, this is another part. They were together and they had a pseudobulb in between, and this pseudobulb in between had also lost its leaves and became sort of orange color, but it was not mushy or anything. So I decided to check, and it smelled so bad inside the leca beads, and I'm always very careful. I always change the water every 8 days so that I don't have stale water. So I was very surprised that all the roots were dead, and that's what was causing the bad smell. And that pseudobulb that was turning sort of orange color was not mushy or anything, but I've removed it, threw it away, and got these two pieces, and each one has its own growth. And look at that. See, new roots. There are new roots here, and this new growth is growing very fast. And same here. See, I have these two pieces in fresh moss, live moss. This is live moss I collected from the neighborhood, and they are on top of lecas. So I keep the lec with a bit of water, and the lec is just to make the height so that the moss will not be placed directly on the pool of water. But it's working fine, and I'm so happy about it. And after this, I decided to check my other oncidium types. I don't have many. I have 4 that are they are in punishment, to tell you the truth. They are outside because they are Miltoniopsis, and 2 of them are Miltoniopsis. One of them I never knew what it was, and the 4th one is an oncostel, and they are being treated with all love and care, but they do not much. So I've placed them outside and told them to follow their way, die or live, I don't care. I just took them out of the semi-hydro and the leca beads. I've placed them into sphagnum moss, and of course I keep the sphagnum moss humid, but I don't have much hope. We will check on them later. Now for these ones I like, and they are good ones. This one here is Colmenara. It says it's everlasting, so I hope it is. And I took this one out of the leca beads, out of the semi-hydro, because although it has a spike, I noticed that it had new roots coming, and the older roots were getting mushy, so I decided to change it to take advantage of the growth of new roots. And if this blasts, well, what can I do? It will bloom next year. Same goes with this one. This one is not as good as last year. Last year it had a very large pseudobulb, which is this one. This is this year's, so you can see it's much smaller. And last year it bloomed on both sides, and this year is blooming just on one of the sides, this spike. Well, it might blast. What can I do? This is a Miltasia, and I like this plant very much. It's so fragrant, so it's so nice. So also the roots, it was also in semi-hydro. The roots were also getting mushy, and there were several new roots coming, so I decided to change to orchiata bark. And well, since I was doing it, I made the same. I did the same with this one, which is Shelopstokian, which was not doing bad, but I decided to place it in orchiata bark as well. It has plenty of new growths, lots of new growths everywhere, and I'm very happy. It's a very vigorous plant, and I want to keep it safe. And I'm praying that these spikes will not blast, but if they do, they will come again next year. And I finished this video right here. It's already a long one, and I'll see you next time. Bye.